We are currently on a drive to Cincinnati, Ohio, and we're staying in the area, but we still have about an hour drive here. And
Yep.
Roy's going to be teaching his copper bowl class down at Blue Hell Studios, and so we figured that we would get some film footage of it, and I'm coming along with Roy to help along with that process. That way he can focus on the students, and that's what we're up to today, so we hope you enjoy the video.
So she's going to do all the filmography work, at least for the first day anyhow.
Yep.
She can't, we got Mammal and Papa watching the kids for the first day, so that's good. So she'll try to get as many good photos and video as she can.
I will certainly try.
While we're going along, and then tomorrow I'll probably do more like time lapse and things. So this video is going to be a bit of a mix, a little bit of a vlog. So I hope you guys enjoy. You know, going for something flat and unassuming, and then giving it life, giving it a lot of life and a lot of form, and really getting it to pop up off the page, making the 2D object become three-dimensional. And you know, that's a lot of fun. And I can pass this around. And this is actually a spoon rest, serving spoon rest. Oh, and you don't need complex tooling to do it. That's one thing I hope that you guys can see from this class, that you learn in this class, is that you can go to your own home shop, your garage, wherever you have your space to do it, and it really doesn't require a lot of complex tooling. It doesn't require a big giant shop like this to do it. When I started making copper bowls and things, I was in a little 6x10 shed in the backyard. And so, you know, obviously as the work gets bigger, you might want a little more elbow room, you know, to move around, but it doesn't really require a lot of complex tooling, so that's nice. So we'll go quickly over this, talking about the sweat blocks. Then we will roll into the layout, because there's a few things you should know about layout. Basic concept of this, angle grinder, you can do this with. If you have an orbital sander, it takes a lot longer. Some people have asked about chainsaw blades for these. Those scare me to death. Like the ones where you carve. I'm just picturing, you know, you just losing a leg. So I don't recommend that personally. I don't know. Like if you're braver than me. I wouldn't risk it. Mainly because these don't have a kickback. They don't have anything to rest kickback. They'll just keep running and dangle and be zipping off your toes right back and forth. And, you know, it won't matter. So. Yeah, it just keep cutting, keep cutting as long as it can still have its switch on. If you're getting an angle grinder, the paddle switch angle grinders are a lot safer than these. But me doing it all the time, I go for the unsafe route because I like having the ability, no fatigue, no hand fatigue. The paddle switches, you have to hold them. You have to hold them engaged. But they're safer that if it's not going to slip, if it's running, it'll bounce and all over the floor and chase your kids across the shop. And that's never happened.
No.
Just take my word on it. Another nice feature to have an angle grinder, a lot of them don't, so it's probably useless information, is if you can get one that has variable speed. That's really nice for this type of work because you won't get as much plugging up of your sanding disc while you're grinding. If it's all full out, you want to be very light when you're touching, when you're grinding. Go very light when you're grinding. Don't be bearing it like this because it just loads up the sanding disc and then it just skates and it burns and chars. So don't do that. But done, simple as that. So this doesn't have to be a real simple process. So this right here is plenty. This is what you're looking for. get a padded glove, a padded leather glove, it really saves your hands. So, because it absorbs some of the vibrations, because you're holding this piece, it'll absorb some of that kinetic energy coming up through your hands. If you just go barehanded with it, it'll feel like somebody's cracked you on your phone. If you're doing a lot of copper work, it'll feel like somebody whacked your phone. So, wearing a padded glove while you're doing this is good. Obviously start at the edge. And the reason for this being is by striking the edge first, I won't end up with wrinkles out the end. You'll end up developing a wrinkle if you don't start at your edges first. Because by working the edge first, we work hard on the edge. And then we can draw the rest of the material down without it kinking and getting up like that. So we'll come along, we're going to set this over our depression, not like this. We're not trying to, bend it. We're going to set it right to the edge of this here. But now it's rigid. It's resisting all that hammer blows. I don't need to fight this anymore. I need to go ahead and anneal it again. Same process. Goes in the forge, out of the forge, into the quench tank, dry it off, and back to your stone. So we're going to do that again. We're going to go ahead and fire up the forge one more time and I'll keep working this. But it's amazing the amount of work that I have done, isn't it, honey, out of a wooden block.
Yep.
Big jobs, small jobs, in between jobs. All my copper baptismal basins I've made. I think the largest one of those was 26 inches in diameter. That was a basin, so it was 8 inches deep. You don't have to get it super hot. Again, in orange in color that's at the high end, orange in color. Yeah, it's a little too much at the end, but that barely gets it. That's fine, it's got it close enough. Set that out there. This is the color you're going to anneal your copper at, about right here. That's all it's needed. So that's it now. Go ahead and place it. You can quench in water or you can quench in pickle. Pickle can be several different things. Quenching in pickle will blow all the scale off and leave you with fairly clean copper to work with. But if you quench in pickle, you will have to neutralize it like a baking soda bath or running water. So you have to neutralize the acids on the piece before you go handling it, doing all that. That ugly looking thing over there that's all lumpy and bumpy, and how do we get it smooth, right? Because clearly you can't grind through those. So right now we've got a shape like this, not quite this severe. This is exaggerated, because I like to exaggerate facts. That's how that works. And we've got bumps, these like surface undulations in this piece, right? Our form's where we want it. But now we want to take and get rid of all those bumps smooth. If you just grind through them, leave holes, right? Like if you just grind through the mountaintops, we can't do that. It's not thick enough. So what we're trying to do with our work comes into a planishing step, okay? And planishing there's several levels of planishing or planishing. We are trying to bring everything to one plane, okay? A flat surface plane. If you have a bump like that in a piece, we're trying to bring this bump here down to that level there to be in plane. So that's essentially, in a nutshell, basically what planishing is. So as we work this piece, once you've gotten your shape, you are no longer trying to murder the piece. You're not trying to come in there and just give it all you got, because what you're doing is you're creating more of those lumpy bumpies, and you're changing its shape. You're starting to really, you're stretching it more than what it needs to be. We're aiming for these bumps. We're trying to planish out those bumps. We're trying to take the hills and put them down into the valleys. So you're going to start aiming for those bumps as you get to there. And you may say, well, okay, well, it looks pitted. It looks pitted because there's bumps. There's areas that haven't been hit with the hammer. The areas that are like the pits, the valleys, that's where it's been hit with a hammer. The areas that are sticking up, those are the areas that have not been hit with a hammer yet. Okay? And so this is stage one, if you will, of planishing. So this is your number one type planishing. So you're going to do a couple passes to get rid of all those major bumps. It's good to lay out your sheet like this if you don't want to take and have to buy a ton of copper sheet. It's more wasteful to cut squares than cut rounds, because a lot of times you can snooker like one of those in between somewhere else. So if you can lay it out like this and then just kind of cut in between the rounds you draw, that's better. But then if you can see that, we have a 6.5 inch round circle then. Go listen. So whenever you cut material out on a piece like this, you need to be aware of suck down or draft. Trying to see if I can show it, see if this has enough on it. I think I can show. If you look, get in the light and just kind of bounce it, and you'll see that this radiuses. It'll radius into that square cut. So you guys can look at those. These have all been cut out. You can look, pass these around and look at them.
That's mostly a byproduct of like shearing. Right?
Yep, because of the shearing. So if you're going to use a shear, you need to be aware of that when you cut. You need to make sure you cut to the outside of your scribe line, not on your scribe line. Just like your templates. Your templates, whenever you make templates, and then these have like lines and stuff on them, that's just all fake. That's just what the screen grab from the internet produced. There was lines. That's not what I intentioned to make. But whenever you're doing any sort of pattern work, you're laying out a pattern on a piece like this that you're planning on replicating a bunch of times, some like less information when you're first cutting it out is more. So you want to gradually add information that you need. the reason for that being, I'll show you here. So if I mark this out, I'm going to mark it with a marker. Usually I lay out with a scribe, but I didn't bring my scribe, and it's fine. I'll just do it like this. You go around, you add all this stuff to it. We're going to add the shape. I'm just going to do a magic marker, Sharpie. I'm not being real accurate with this. Just want to get you guys the general concept. Go around. One thing you want to avoid is a double bite. So you don't want to back up, re-bite, because it'll create a meat hook. We call them in HVAC word meat hooks, because I mean these little slivers that hide, and all of a sudden you lace your finger up on one. Yeah, so, and that comes from that double biting, so.